In building out CentreCourt to include specialized masters, it's a reflection perhaps of one of the growing markets right now in business education. And of course, one of the world's leading business schools, INSEAD, took the step last year to launch their first Masters in Management program, their first pre-experience program, which is off to a flying start. They welcomed their new students just a month ago on the Fontainebleau campus. And I'm delighted to be joined at the CentreCourt Masters Festival by the Dean of INSEAD, Ilian Mihov. Ilian, great to see you. Good to see you, Matt. Thank you for having me here. Now, you've just celebrated 7 years as the Dean at INSEAD, and a lot has happened in that time. You've opened a center of business as a force for good. You have the new San Francisco campus, which of course we hope post-COVID will still be very active and busy. And then a master's in management, which is, it must have reduced the average age on the INSEAD campus by a couple of years. Yes, well, we just opened it 1st of September this year. Our new students came, 97 students from over 30 countries. It's really great to see this cohort of students with their enthusiasm and energy. We wish the circumstances were different and so we can do much more than what we're doing now, but just the energy itself is so inspiring. Well, it lowers the age a little bit, but again, we have only less than 100 students in the Master in Management program and about 1,000 MBAs. So it's still the balance is in favor of the MBAs. But it's great to have them on campus. You've always talked about everybody at INSEAD is a minority, and I guess with 30 nationalities, that's true both in terms of where they're coming from around the world, but also the different study backgrounds and pre-MIM experience that they have. Why is that diversity so important to you? Well, I mean, I think at INSEAD was built with the DNA of diversity. So our founder in 1959, Georges Doriot, when he established INSEAD, he was a professor at Harvard Business School at the time, but he didn't want just to bring management education. He wanted to create an institution that unites people. And especially in post-war Europe, that was very important. So in fact, at that time, diversity was very clearly sought after thing for us. And in fact, just to give the idea to everybody that this is a European school at the time, diverse school, everybody who came to INSEAD at the time had to speak German, French, and English, because one course could be in French, another in German, another in English. You have to take tests in these classes. Since then, we've realized that actually diversity can be just such a source of strength and creativity that we value it throughout our programs. We always try to make sure that there is a good mix of students with different backgrounds, different countries, different religions, different ethnicity, because that's why you create so much more value than in a very monotonous or homogeneous class. Right. Now, the average age of the Masters in Management cohort that has just joined you is 22. What does that bring in terms of energy and perspectives, a very entrepreneurially minded group of individuals? Well, to be completely honest, I haven't seen them yet because of these travel restrictions. I'm in Singapore, the students are in Fontainebleau, so I have not had the experience of interacting with them and telling you or the audience, what kind of people really we have there. But from what I hear, it's just a group of people who are very enthusiastic about learning, who are very enthusiastic about interacting with each other, about building networks. The program that my colleagues have designed is absolutely amazing. I look at this thing and I say, I want to study now. With all the machine learning classes, I want to go back to school and do what they're doing. And a lot of them are coming with entrepreneurial ideas. But again, it's not the same as in the MBA program where people already have had some experience when they come to INSEAD. They have a little bit more clarity on exactly what they want to do. So here it is a little bit more, okay, let me continue my education and then I want to do management, I want to do business, but it's not as clear as the transitions that our MBA students are searching for.
Right. I was fortunate to interview Francesca, who is one of your new intake, an Oxford grad who's loving just the first few weeks. She said, you know, the campus, to be on the campus with everybody, but of course you're also using so many digital tools to make sure that everybody is connected. She said, incredibly supportive group. Now, it's always a big step to launch a new program. What is the level of demand that you're seeing? You're entering a market where there are a number of or many top European schools that have been players in this market for 15, 20, 30 years. So are you seeing particularly strong demand for the program?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we were blown away by the demand for the program. Initially, we were planning, to have one section, and we're having one section only because we wanted to make sure that we deliver the highest possible quality. As a pioneering class, there could be a lot of hiccups. I mean, so far everything is working well, given the constraints, especially of COVID-19 restrictions. But things are working well. But it is easy to create big classes and have a lot of students, but for us, it is important that we deliver the quality. So the demand is absolutely there. And we had, unfortunately, to say no to a lot of really great candidates from many, many different countries. But we want to make sure that our first class receives special attention, that we tweak the program to make it even more impactful. And with one section, it is much easier. And basically, we were restricted by the capacity of the amphitheater, which could hold only 100 students. So but it's great. It's great to be in this situation.
The MBA is globally recognized. Do you think that the Masters in Management will similarly see strong demand, not just from the European market, but from Asia? Are you seeing a lot of demand from North America? It's a fairly unusual moment in a business education, that sort of pre-experienced Masters. Do you think there will be demand from North America?
It's a very interesting question, Matt, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time, because most of the demand, as you point out, is from Asia Pacific, and Europe. So in Europe, we know that after the Bologna process in 1999, there was a lot of increase in demand for master in management, because education was split into a 3-year undergraduate and then a master's degree that you could seek somewhere else. You don't have to continue in the same program. In Asia, for one reason or another, students are interested, even though many of them will graduate after 4 years, they're interested in continuing for 1 more year. In the US, we don't see this so much at this point. And again, we talked earlier that my daughter is in the US, and she's considering now internships in the 3rd year, the junior year, and what to do after that. And their thinking is, after 4 years, you just go and you start working in a company. You don't. So there is a little bit of a different mindset there. In Europe, as you know, this market for master in management has just grown with double-digit growth rates for the last 20 years. It's really unbelievable. But I think that at some point, probably it will go also into the US. I mean, I think that there is probably a fundamental question: where is management education heading? What do we expect to see in the future years? And I think that today, most of us would say, you don't think anymore that once you graduate, you're done with your studying. Most of us think how the world is changing every 3-4 years. You have to go back and you have to renew your skills or build new skills. I think that there will be demand for more modular classes, more executive education type, but probably a little bit better organized throughout your career. And then this may affect the MBA market, the MIM market in different ways, and so on. But I think this is the fundamental question.
Of course, you completed business studies for undergrad and then went straight into your master's in economics at Princeton and then onto your PhD. So it was all front-loaded. Why do you think that the master's in management in that first year or two coming out of university or college, why do you think it's such a popular choice for those graduates? Is it a reflection just of the sort of the job market of 2020, or do you think it has a more enduring appeal?
Oh, I'm definitely thinking it's a much more enduring thing. It's not just 2020. And again, we have seen in the last 20 years the demand for this program growing, especially in Europe, because of these changes. I mean, I think that again, most people think that 3 years is a good foundation for your knowledge in a certain area. But if you really want to dig deeper in specific area, you just have to do a master's degree, and it could be in political science, economics, sociology, or business. So I think that there is a natural complement because of the change in the educational structure in Europe for this master in management. But also, I think that what we see today is that uh, there is a demand for building deeper skills around data science, around data analytics, and sometimes in the undergraduate degrees, people don't do this unless of course, you're in computer science and you do all this as your major. So that's an opportunity to say, let me learn more business skills, more knowledge, gain more knowledge, but also, and that's what we do in our Master in Management program, let me make sure that I can understand how to use data, manipulate data. We don't expect our students to become software programmers, but we do expect them, once they see the possibility of data collection with huge data sets, to figure out how can I use this data to answer my business questions. So and this connection, I think, is becoming absolutely essential in management. That's why we are
Right.
focusing on.
The school already has tremendous relationships with the strategy consulting firms, McKinsey, Bain, BCG, big tech firms, finance, across industries and sectors. What do you think those employers and perhaps others will then most appreciate? Is it that those sort of data skills, but also perhaps just a self-confidence at this early stage in their career? What do you think they will most appreciate about INSEAD's MIM students?
I mean, I think that the data skills will come in very high on the top of the list of what they were appreciating. I mean, again, I think that for us, it is very important that whoever comes to INSEAD, he or she learns how to work in very diverse teams. This is something that is, as I said, is part of our DNA, part of our framework, because in today's world, now people talk about deglobalization, but let's face it, I mean, we will have cross-cultural teams. We will have, again, especially once we start traveling, we'll be working with people from all over the world, because that's where the world is heading. And if you have these capabilities, and if we're willing to say, I don't mind going to Tokyo or to Rio de Janeiro and working there, or New York, or then these people, I think it will have a lot of value for the company. It's, I mean, the hard skills that we're building are essential, but also this ability to work in teams. We are helping them build the initial understanding of management, how you manage people. But this is, to be honest, this is something that comes in a little bit later, either in the MBA or in executive education. Because, I mean, again, if you have never managed somebody, learning it in theory is a bit difficult.
Well, perhaps that speaks to the idea of if you think that the Masters in Management will cannibalize the MBA market, are they at two very distinct stages of development, that sort of early skills and then the sort of management and leadership skills you're describing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're very different in a sense that you study, some of the subjects might overlap, but the key for us, the key thing that we're trying to make sure that our MBA students learn is how do they become managers, leaders, how they work with people, how they create new projects, how they manage big projects, and so on. So that's something that we can build only after they have some experience, only after they come into the class and say, yeah, I actually had this situation in my company, and this is what we did. So they will add value to the discussion in a way, and the discussion will be much more meaningful when we talk about this thing. In the MIM program, again, we have extremely bright students. I was just looking at the CVs. I was looking at the people that we're getting, and very impressed. I can't wait to go and see them and meet with them. But you know, if you don't have the experience, you know, the discussion is just very different. It's,
INSEAD describes itself as the business school for the world, and Virginie Fougère and the rest of the admissions team, you know, are so used to seeing these incredibly international profiles applying to the MBA. What is the school then looking for in MIM candidates? You've mentioned a 3-language requirement back in the 1950s and 60s. The MBA requires 3 languages by the time you finish the MBA program. So what are you looking at for MIM candidates?
I mean, I think at this point, the key thing about the MIM candidates is we want to see people who are open-minded, want to see people who want to work and to learn, obviously. I mean, you go to school because you want to learn. So people with curiosity, inquisitive minds, people who are not afraid to be creative, to pitch, you know, ideas that, you know, some people might think, you know, they're crazy ideas, but, you know, they could be the winning ones. So innovative, but also global thinkers, people who are really thinking about inclusion, integration, who respect the fact that you're with different people around you. That just brings to you so much more in the classroom. I mean, when I used to teach macroeconomics, I just learned from the students so much because they come from these perspectives that to me are unexpected, or you just don't know because, you know, I've never been to Ecuador or never been to Libya, and you get the feedback from these countries. So this is, again, inquisitive minds, curiosity, openness, respect for the others. And as you know, I have been talking a lot about business as a force for good. I really appreciate students that want to make positive change in the world.
Do you think we'll see a different balance? 2 years ago, you were honored with the UN's Women He for She Leadership Award for contributions to gender equality. Do you think that as you compare to the typical MBA program, the incoming class has 32% women? Is the Masters in Management an opportunity to achieve stronger gender balance?
Yeah, definitely. I think that we will have more balanced classes in the Master in Management program. We're still trying to understand what is the obstacle to have more women applicants, because again, it's not about the admission, it's about the applications. But you know, the whole issue is we roughly admit the same percentage of women as we have in the application pool. But you know, we were trying to understand why there are fewer women applying to the MBA program, taking GMAT for the MBA program globally. So it's not, again, it's not just INSEAD compared to the MIM program, and it could be, you know, there could be many reasons. But you know, we started designing some studies with a couple of colleagues here. We have a gender diversity initiative led by Professor Zoe Kinias to see how we can make the MBA program, the MIM program as well, but mostly the MBA program more attractive and interesting to female candidates.
You've been very outspoken, of course, of the importance of diversity and initiatives, not just in gender, but across this issue of diversity. What do you think are some of the most important initiatives that you're undertaking as a school to achieve that?
Well, I mean, I think that the diversity, the gender diversity initiative that we had started a few years back is very important. Of course, in the last few months, the discussion went beyond that because of the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States, but also outside. So one of the big initiatives now is creating the Office of Equity, Diversity and Inclusion. And again, I've always said, you know, the INSEAD diversity has been very essential for many, many years. But I think that what we realize after looking at ourselves is that we should be able to do better. We should be able to do things that, I mean, I think no other school can do because of the nature of who we are. And I wish we could welcome more students from countries that are currently underrepresented, or from continents that are underrepresented, like from Africa, or even some countries in Latin America, or some countries, 4 countries in Asia. And again, I really think that for us it is important because I know that these students can teach us a lot. I mean, I recently had a discussion about racism and how to combat the discrimination and so on. And I think it's really one of the most important things is in educational institutions to have the experience that help you become anti-racist. Um, and it's difficult to have this if you actually don't have people from these other races. It is one thing if you're working in a group with people that are coming from China, from Africa, from Latin America, and it's a different thing if it's very homogeneous. So I really want, that will be the big initiative now. We're starting an Africa initiative. We've been planning this for some time. Actually, we're discussing with Brookings Institute to create a Leadership in Africa conference. We're planning it for 2020, but I have to postpone it obviously because of COVID-19. So next year, hopefully, we'll be able to do this. I think that we want to do it because we think that we can create value for these countries, for these people, but also we can receive a lot from them, especially our students. I think that will be, if we manage to launch this initiative this year, and if we manage to make it successful, it will be a game changer for the school.
Right. This idea of consultation, recently with the MBA program, and given the COVID situation, you sat down with students and this discussion to actually bring down the MBA class size. You went down from 500 to 310 to be able to successfully accommodate on both campuses. What do you personally get from those consultations, including these new 22-year-olds that have just arrived for the Masters in Management?
I mean, I think that I really value our discussions with the students because sometimes, it's really, you can learn a lot from them, and you can see things that are not working. It's very easy to go with your inertia. It's very easy to say, well, this is how we've done things. Very easy to say this and to continue doing because you used to do that. And sometimes, people come with unreasonable ideas, and we have to be able to tell them these ideas are not reasonable and explain to them why. But if we put complacency on the side and we say, okay, let's have a good discussion. Very often, students are coming up with great ideas and say, if we do it this way, it will add a lot of value to our MBA and to the school. So I'm getting a lot of great feedback from students. Not all of the feedback is implementable. Not all of the feedback is implementable immediately. But it's good to be challenged. It's good when you have a partner on the other side that basically wants to make the school a better place, as we all do. So it's and they come, of course, with different perspective. We have these discussions, of course, at the board level, with the faculty, at faculty meetings, with the staff at staff meetings, with my executive committee. But all of our perspectives are from one side, and the students come with very, very different perspectives, and it's great.
So Centre as business as a force for good. You have campuses in Europe, in Southeast Asia, in the GCC in Abu Dhabi, San Francisco. What's next? What for you are the priorities for INSEAD in the coming years?
I mean, I think that we have a lot of balls in the air, and I think that we're managing to juggle all this quite well so far. And it's a pity that COVID-19 had to, because of COVID-19, we had to change some of the things. Like the San Francisco hub the opening was so good in February, and we were so excited about all the programs that were lining up there. The students were excited to go there. So to me, actually, one of the first priorities will be, let's make it work. Let's make it a big success, because connecting the US, especially the Valley, and Singapore and Europe and Abu Dhabi will generate a lot of positive value for the students, for the faculty as well, but also for the local communities. So we're looking forward to this. The Africa initiative is very important for us, for me. I really, I started a couple of years ago engaging more with Africa, went to Angola, to South Africa. We're planning this year a conference in Nigeria, and was supposed to visit Rwanda, but a lot of things changed. And I think that I'm just very excited because I see the potential of a lot of value creation for both sides. It's a great opportunity. And of course, I always have to say that to me, the whole research and the whole pedagogical materials around business and society, business as a force for good, is extremely important, because I really think that that's where the world is heading. We're heading towards a place where we have to integrate in our thinking how we affect the society and the environment, in addition to how we affect our business. And of course, we have to manage our business in a profitable way and create a lot of value for businesses, but we cannot ignore what happens out there in societies around the world, or in the environment. And I think it also, again, there are just so many great things that we're trying to do, including what is happening with our faculty, our intellectual environment, and all these things, and with the students, the new initiatives. Too many things to list, I guess. It's a short interview, and a lot of excitement. I really hope that soon the change of these travel restrictions and COVID-19 will go away, so that we can have back our participants, our students on campus.
So one final question for our audience, who themselves are looking at investing in both their personal and their professional development with a master's in management through all of the challenges of COVID. As if you've looked at INSEAD as a school, the challenges for delivering education across multiple continents. Has COVID in fact reminded you of just how strong INSEAD is in its alumni network, in the way that faculty have responded and transferred, and then students themselves?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you probably know this. In March this year, I was diagnosed with COVID-19, so I had to stay in a hospital for a few days. And, I had only mild symptoms, and soon after that, I was put in isolation facility until I had negative tests. So I started actually managing the school almost right away. I was just 3-4 days I was out of office. And to be completely honest, at the end of March, I was scared. I was scared that, we don't know what will happen, and the scenarios could be so bad. And, it just looked really, really bad. And then all of a sudden, with the work of my team here, with the support of the faculty, the staff, and then alumni and the students, the whole thing changed. And, we had the best year for fundraising, thanks to our alumni, in terms of results. The faculty, committed to transitioning very quickly to online teaching, and actually putting their hearts and their souls into all this. I mean, INSEAD is in periods, right? So we have periods of 2 months. So the period of March, April, we taught 113 classes. The average rating of the online classes, I mean, all classes were online, but the average rating was the same as last year in person. And it was because of this dedication. And the students, of course, some people were complaining, and I can completely understand what they were doing that. And I feel really empathetic with all that they had to go through. But at the same time, the agility and the resilience that they showed, and said, we have to make it work, this is our year. So that, and the support of the staff, everybody was just unbelievable. So we ended the year from a financial point of view, good way. The students, we promised them, I told them in the graduation speech, this year, we commit that will be the platform for you to continue learning and to continue meeting your friends and to continue building up your skills for the remaining part of your professional lives, because once you're at INSEAD, you're always part of INSEAD, and we want them to be successful. So you could see the dedication to the school from the entire community, and that was very inspiring. And times are tough, but knowing the support that we have is very encouraging.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure that that moment when you get to meet the new Masters in Management students in Fontainebleau can't come soon enough. Thank you, Ilian, for taking the time to join us at the CentreCourt Masters Festival. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.